All right, guys, what is going on? We got a Super Bowl champ here. Like you can see the ring on the shirt. You can see the ring on the shirt. We got Clifford here, who's like a man of many talents. Played football at Florida. Also a TikTok star. Also was on the Rams social team. I feel like, am I missing anything? I just feel like you've done everything, and you're like,
Hit a, hit
how
him,
old
hit
are
him
you?
all on the head. 22.
Okay, so am I. So you're very, very accomplished for a 22-year-old. So
Yeah.
how's it going? What is going on? How's this like post Super Bowl like few weeks here?
Unbelievable. I mean, sometimes I still like pinch myself. Like, we really won the Super Bowl, and plus everything that weekend leading up to it, everything was just going right for some reason. And I was getting worried because it's like sometimes when things go right, they have a tendency to shift and things start like going bad. And so my best friend was able to come out here with me. And so we were, having a great time, went to a few parties and all that. And so leading up to the game, everything was great. And so the beginning of the game, it wasn't really going in our favor. And then fourth quarter, that was just, Stafford Magic and Super
Yeah.
Cup. So, yeah, winning the Super Bowl and then celebrating, going on the field, and then that post game Super Bowl party, the parade, like all of that was just, it was unbelievable. It just went by so fast.
I saw those pictures on your Instagram. What was that like out on the field with the confetti though? Like that must have been
You,
crazy.
you want to know what's crazy? It felt, and it's gonna sound crazy, but it felt more surreal after the NFC Championship game. The reason I say that is because it wasn't an NFL hosted game, so they weren't trying to like rush to get us off the field. They saw that we were Rams staff, so we could kind of like sit there and like soak it all in.
Uh-huh.
Whereas the Super Bowl is like, yeah, we can get a couple pictures, and then we gotta like dip out. So, we got a few. We were able to embrace it for like 5 minutes, but then we had to go to our team bus and back to the hotel. And so, yeah, I embraced it a whole lot more during the NFC game. But hey, nonetheless, Super Bowl champs is Super Bowl champs.
And
So
you got to get the ring. When's this ring coming next year or next season?
who knows? There's been so many whispers. You know what? If your guys are going to hit me up, that better be what y'all referring to, and it better be on the good side that we are getting rings. So we'll see.
Yeah, I feel like you guys deserve it. So now that we know, the current stuff, I want to go like back to college because I feel like I know a little bit about this story, and I just want to like hear it from you. So you walked on to Florida,
Hmm.
but you didn't play
Yep.
football before Florida, right? Before you were in college, right?
Right. Right. Yep.
So how did that come about? You were at a flag football, like just like with your friends, just throwing the football around?
Lauren, you're spazzing me out. You were spot on,
I did my
but
research. I was gonna have you come on here and not do my
uh,
research.
no, I appreciate it,
Big J
yeah,
journalist
no,
right here.
yeah, so yeah, you hit it right on the head. My first 2 years. Backstory: I was trying to walk on for basketball. Long story short, that didn't work. So I was just like, okay, I'll just go here as a student, play intramural basketball and flag football, and call it a day. And then it got to a point sophomore year because our flag football team we were raw. Like I think the only time we lost was when like two of us were sick. And so there was just one day I just had a game and I had like 4 or 5 touchdowns, something like that. And it just so happened who's one of my guys now, Robert Clay, who was a walk on DB at Florida. He asked me, he was like, "Yo," he's like, "Is this like too easy for you?" And I'm like, "I'm not gonna lie, I get kind of bored from it." And he was like, "You ever thought about playing for the Gators?" And I was like, "What do you mean, like as a walk on?" He was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "No, I've never played football before. Like I've never even considered playing football before." And so he was just like, just think about it. And he was kind of just telling me about his experience and how, he went from like 220 to 230 in the span of like a month or so.
Oh
And I was just
whoa.
like, I'm like, that's pretty dope, not gonna lie. And so like he was just telling me about all the opportunities, and I was just like, all right. So that night I kind of just, kind of forgot about it. I was like, yeah, it was just a little talk, nothing, beyond that. But that Saturday leading up was when we played LSU and we beat them off of B Stew's pick six. And that was like the first time the swamp was like considered back. And so I just kind of like sat and like looked around. I still lived on campus at the time. So I was walking through like the students and the alumni and I was like, damn, I kind of want that. So I go home and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna for the next 2 or 3 months, you just work out, do whatever I gotta do, and try to walk on. And if I don't make it, I don't make it. But hey, it'll be a hell of a story. That hey, he gave it a shot. So called my mom. She was nervous as hell. My dad was excited as hell because he was just like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna get free tickets." Because my dad's a UF alum, so he was
Okay.
all on board for it. So from that, I think at that point I want to say 200 at best. And from I'd say October of 2018 to February of 2019, I got from about 200 to about 225, 230 around that range. So you could definitely tell the difference. And
Just
then,
training by yourself?
yeah, I
Whoa.
mean, I didn't, I didn't know anybody else on campus that was trying to, do the same thing I was doing. So I was like,
That
let me
that's
just
a
go to South.
lot of that's a lot of muscle to put on in
Yeah,
that time span.
no, I would work out, 2 times a day, and if I only worked out once, it would be there for like 3 hours. Not to mention, I would do cardio and just play basketball or something like that. So, no, it was a different type of grind. But yeah, fast forward to February of 2019, they say, hey, we have an opportunity for a tryout, and so lo and behold, I go in there. I'm thinking it's gonna be like 400 people. It was only four of us.
Oh
It was only
whoa.
four, and I was like, wait a minute. So now I don't know if that was for better or worse. 'Cause it's like now they're really gonna pay attention to
Yeah.
me, but it's like but now it's like I really can't mess up either. So I mean, I kind of went in there like it was a game, and it was during this thing called the dead period. So the dead period is when players they can't use a football or anything like that. It was just like straight conditioning, agility, footwork, all that good stuff. So the tryout to me was easy. It was like 45 minutes to an hour, just straight agility, conditioning, and growing up playing basketball, you're used to it. And so
Yeah.
I was like, all right, this is fine. And so tryout, and afterwards, one of the guys who was our personnel at the time, John Clark, he goes, look, we would love to have you on the team. And I was like, oh crap. But he's like, but your schedule kills you. And I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean by that? And he was just saying like the time that I had class was the time they had, spring ball practice, meetings,
Uh-huh.
all that stuff. And I was like, so what does that mean for me? Does that mean I'm cut? He's like, no, it doesn't mean you're cut. You just gotta wait until June. And I'm kind of sitting there like, knowing the Gators and knowing how big of a team they are, they're gonna forget me. So,
Yeah.
you know, March goes by, April goes by, nothing. May goes by, nothing. June, I'm kind of starting to accept it. Like, you know what? Too good to be true. Next thing I know, literally, as I'm about to take a nap, John Clark, he called me. He's like, hey, you ready? And I was like, yeah, yeah, okay. And so, next thing I know, I was in the facilities getting my physicals, all that good stuff. And next thing I knew, I was a Gator football player. So, crazy.
That's a crazy story. I love
Yeah.
that. That's like an all-time story for like your whole life. You'll have that. Like I never played football before, but then I walked on a D1 program and I made it.
Yeah. Crazy. Crazy.
So you
Crazy.
played tight end, right?
Yep.
So you were in the tight end room with Kyle Pitts, weren't you?
The best.
So
The
did you
absolute
know
best.
like
Yep.
from the moment you were around him like, "Oh wow, this guy's like going to be a top 5 pick."
To be honest, I didn't. Only reason I say that is because he was still trying to figure out if he was gonna switch to receiver or tight end.
Mhm.
That wasn't really confirmed yet, so like no one really knew. And then when camp started, he wasn't even like the top tight end. Like Lucas Kroll was our top tight end at the time, and then it was KP, and then Gamble, and then Zip, and then Lang, and then at the bottom of the barrel, myself, Sal, and Trey, Dennis, the walk on. But but yeah, no, I did not expect him at least his sophomore year to turn up the way he did. I knew he was gonna like have an impact, but I didn't think he was gonna have that type of impact. So yeah, it was crazy just seeing him turn up from that to his junior year, and it was just like, damn, like this might be like the coldest tight end to ever, play college football. And just like seeing him in that first game, score 4 touchdowns against Ole Miss, it was like there's no other tight end in the country that's doing this. And so, honestly, after that game, I thought that Matthew was a lot because sometimes these tight ends, they'll have like 8, 9 touchdowns, a couple hundred yards, but it's like he had 4 touchdowns in the first game.
Yeah.
We still have like 11, 12 more games to go, and he's already got 4. So he just had a crazy year. Even after he got hurt, he still came back like nothing ever happened. So yeah, the coldest tight end ever played a game for sure. And I still stay in touch with him and his family. So that bond is stuck forever.
Because was it, don't quote me on this, but he was the highest tight end ever drafted, right?
Yep.
Like the highest
Hmm.
pick for a tight end, which is crazy.
Yep.
So now I want to go into social media a little bit. So I'm honestly the most excited to talk about social with you. Because like how did you, well, first off, how did you get into social media and like posting on TikTok? How did you first get into that?
Full disclosure, I hated TikTok at first. I
Yeah.
thought it was just a fine ripoff. But our specialists, like our kickers and punters, they would come back to our section in the locker room all the time with like a new video that they thought was funny. And I was like, bro, it's literally Vine. It's literally Vine. And then I would go home, talk to my roommates. They were talking about TikTok, and it's like, okay, let me just not be a hater and get the app. So
Yeah.
I got it, and then uh, one of the first videos I saw was this like little white kid, and it was like the I Know My Purpose challenge. So it was Baby Birkin by Gunna,
Yeah.
and it was just this part where he says I know my purpose like I think 4 times in a row, and this white kid goes, he's like, this is what it's like being the white kid, on a Nike AAU team or something like that, and he
Uh-huh.
was like shooting threes, giving the team rides, making sure his mom's the team mom, like all that like stereotypical stuff, and I thought was hilarious.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, and I wasn't doing anything at the time, so I was just like, let me just make a football one. Worst comes to worst. What the heck? I got nothing going on, so I made it, and you can honestly tell. I mean, I had to put the phone down and like back up, and then kind of do like the whole thing. And honestly, this whole thing right here wasn't playing. It just kind of like happened when I heard the sound. I was just like it just happened. So made the video, took one take, finished editing in like 5 minutes. And then, I posted whatever, what the heck, I just figured, oh, it's something silly. It's not going to do anything. The next day, I grabbed my phone and it was like on fire. And I was just scrolling because I still had notifications on. So I was just
Yeah.
scrolling for like I think it was like 5 minutes straight. And it
After the
was just
first
like
video.
after the first video,
Oh.
and I was like,
What month and year was this?
this was November of 2019, my junior year.
Okay. So
Yeah,
that you were
November
like still
18th.
like pretty
Yeah.
early on the app though. Cuz I feel
Oh,
like there was
yeah.
that big
Thank
boom
God.
like March 2020 was like that big
Yeah.
boom, but you were like early on it. You were in that
Oh,
early
yeah.
group.
Yeah, thank God I was. It's so hard, gaining a following nowadays. It's so different. But yeah, that I'll never forget that. I made that first video, and then I go to the locker room, and Freddie Swain, and everybody's like, "Hey, Cliff, do that one little thing you do," and I was like, what? Because I never really talked in the locker room like that. He was like, "Do that little thing you do," and he was doing like the whole, and I thought he was doing, and I was like, "Oh, the little gesture from the video," and I was like, bro, that was just a video, and next thing I look, it's at like 500,000 views, and I'm like, whoa, like this is sick, and so I let that one sit for like a week or two or something like that. Then I
Mhm.
made another video that did pretty solid. Then I made a third video that did solid, and then the fourth one, which was I think it was when it was like college football players like during the break while everyone's at home, and they was talking
I feel
about the
like that's the first one
stereotypical.
I saw.
That
I
that
feel
was
like
that was
that's
the
the one that
first
came up
one.
on my For You page. I'm trying to think.
Yeah, that was the first one that kind of really like put me in the stratosphere in a sense because Overtime had posted it. Uh, there was one more that posted it. I think it was Sports that posted it, and after that, I was like, "Hey, this is kind of fun. Like I can do this." Like I had so many ideas just roaming after that. So make a couple videos at home. Then I go to the Orange Bowl, make a few videos. Those go crazy. And what was dope was when we came back from the Orange Bowl, like for that second or that spring semester, I would start going to bars and people would start saying like, "Yo, you're that guy from TikTok," and I'm like, "Yeah, what's up?" And it was cool because it's like, yo, it's like, okay, they have no idea that I play for the Gators, but it's like kind of cool that they know that I'm
Yeah.
TikTok famous or on the verge of TikTok fame or whatever people call it nowadays. But yeah, so that happened. Made a few videos like during that time before the whole COVID thing, which they did okay, but it was nothing like spectacular. And then COVID happened, and then we had all types of freedom. And I was, staying with one of my good friends at the time for a little bit, and we were just making videos every single day. he was my, cameraman. I was like, yo, I need you to record this. And I was just making videos that were just all over the place. Like some would do great and others would do kind of mid and others would just flop. It was just, how it was. But, that's one thing TikTok has taught me. It's taught me patience. You gotta have it, because if you don't have it, it's gonna come back to bite you in the, rear end. So um, making videos, and then what really did it for me, I'll never forget. It was in May of 2020, and I had just come back from the gym because our gym had just reopened for those who had like appointments or whatever. And I was kind of sitting there, and I saw a video of this guy listening to music, and it was from like some rap instrumental to Big Time Rush, and I was like, that is sick. And that was the first time where I was like, I really want to remake that video, but I don't know how I'm gonna remake that video. And I was just like, let me just put on like, a real jersey with some real gear and eye black to make it look, real. Made it in my living room. You can literally see me sitting on my table. Made it in my living room, and that did something that I can't even describe. I mean, House of Highlights picked it up, Overtime picked it up, ESPN picked it up, like every big time sports platform picked it. It was even on iFunny. Like, when's the last time that we used iFunny?
Yeah.
I think the last time I used it was when I was like 12 or 13, and that's when it was like, okay, now we kind of here to stay now, because I think a few days later I had just hit 100,000. So it was like, all right, now this is, now we're doing it. So yeah, and I haven't stopped making videos since, and I think I just hit the 1,000 video mark like a few weeks
Oh
ago. So
wow.
here I am, 300 and last time I checked, 330 something thousand followers later. So it's crazy.
So is that when you like realized, oh, like I could do this for a job? Like I could do social media for a job after that video?
Honestly, no. I mean, I was still in school, and I wasn't trying to like make that quick decision, right away. I was gonna wait till my college career was over, and so I was just making videos, after, and I started noticing, because I thought my career on TikTok was over after I was done with football. I thought it was done, and I would make these videos, and then companies started reaching out, agencies started reaching out, and I was like, okay, we have something here. And then when I joined the Gatorade Social Squad, which was huge, which was game changing, and then I signed with my agent Michael Raymond, who's been fantastic. Seeing how much it's grown from when I signed to now, it's crazy. Now we got guys like AJ Green, the Gritty. We got guys or gymnasts like Trinity Thomas, who is absolutely killing it for Florida. I know I'm biased, but she's a stud. Emily Cole, who was famous on TikTok for doing the Duke formal with my guy Mitchell. We got her now. It's like yo, like we've created like an army, so it's been great. And so being able to learn the business side of social media is what really garnered me into landing a job with the Rams, because they'll never say this because I didn't have any like experience, working with a social team before. So it's like I really to this day think that my social media presence did justice for me landing this job.
Yeah.
Granted, graphic design was my major, so that
Okay.
did justice in itself.
Yeah,
But
I was new
my
media and digital
socials,
design too. That major.
yeah, but
Yeah.
but I to this day, I mean, even after everything, I still think my socials is what really did it for them. So yeah, I mean, I thought it was over, but it's far from over now. Heck, I got a few videos I'm gonna do after this interview. So
Yeah, guys, I put not the TikTok, sorry, the YouTube link for Clifford.
oh
Is it the first link or it's right after? It's in the description. Yeah, it's in the description. Or and also it's your name, Clifford Taylor.
yeah, just my full name. I'm trying to hop on the YouTube wave a little bit,
Yeah,
because I got
absolutely.
I got this iPad, for the sake of YouTube, and so I've been filming a lot of stuff. It's just a matter of editing. That's why I see why these guys have editors and camera people, because it's like that's hard, especially when you're doing it on your own. Like it's hard.
Editing is
So
I would say, the most tedious part of it. That's why I love doing live streams because you don't really have to edit. You could clip it up after, but
flip it, right?
editing those pre-recorded videos, like those are
Oh yeah, it's a grind. It's a grind.
those are tough. It's tedious.
Oh yeah,
So for the Rams, would you ran the TikTok, right?
yeah. So it was. So don't get it twisted, people. It was four of us on that social squad. to think that it's one body, trust me, it's not just me. If it was just me, I probably would have hung it up in mid-season. But yeah, when they gave me the reins to TikTok when I first got there, the very first thing I told my boss at the time, Jamie Hahn, who's now at Self Sports, I told her, I was like, I promise you, by the time this season is over, we are gonna hit 1 million followers. Because I looked at the TikToks before, and they were solid. Like the football ones were good, but then the skits they were doing, it was just so like just all over the place. And I was like, no, you gotta have structure. Because at that point, I had been in the TikTok game for a little while, so I'm like, nah, you gotta have structure. Like kind of like what The Rock says, it's about drive.
It's about
It's about power.
power.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So when they gave that to me, I was like, yeah, we're gonna turn this thing up because not only is that gonna help the Rams, but I'm gonna get my followers to follow the Rams too. I'm like, yo,
Yeah.
if you want to see me on the Rams, go ahead and check them out too.
It's
So
like you got that perfect
uh,
like cross
yeah,
pollination. I don't know if that's what it's called,
right,
but yeah.
right, yeah, yeah. There you go. No, it's right.
Cross pollination.
It's Yeah, and so that whole season, like I was never stressing about hitting the mill because I knew we was gonna get it regardless. And then when we got OBJ and Von Miller, that really helped.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, like this is they helping me help them, so which is perfect. And so I'll never forget this. Literally, as soon as I got to SoFi on Super Bowl Sunday, I looked and we hit a mill. And
Oh, that's awesome.
I never took a screenshot so fast in my entire life. So
And how do you think you like learned so much about TikTok and got so confident like in your ability to be like, yeah, we're definitely hitting 1 million? Is it just from that process of continuing to upload and learning from uploading? Like, how did you think you learned so much?
yeah, honestly, that, and I think that's one thing I did love about the interview process too, is because they really made you think. And so even before I got hired, I just kind of came up with a whole game plan of like, okay, we can do this idea, we can do that idea, because they would do videos, but they would never really hop on trends, and I'm like, that's an easy 300 right there. If you hop on trends, people are going to follow, whether they're football fans, fans of a certain player, or just fans of the NFL, whatever the case may be. That's gonna change everything. So I really thought about it before I just said, listen, we're gonna hit a mill. So it was a little confident, but there was a little thinking behind it. So so I'll say that. But it like I said, it's just been like unbelievable just seeing how much it has grown. And then we got Twitter to 1 million followers too, which was great.
Oh,
So like it
wow.
was it was just dubs all around for the social team this year.
So, do you have any advice for anyone out there who wants to, like, start in content creation, build their own brand, all that jazz?
See, it's hard for me to give advice because I'm so traditional and so like just I'm not saying these other creators aren't, but like I'm so like real and authentic in a sense
Hmm.
because a lot of these guys they'll kind of go above and beyond and do like stuff that's just like too extra. Like I'm not an extra guy. Like I know sometimes I'll do skits and football gear whatever. That's as nonchalant as I'm gonna get. I'm one of the most chill guys on the face of the planet Earth. Like I'm
Uh-huh.
also one of the quietest guys on the face on planet Earth. Maybe hard to believe right now,
Yeah, I was
but
gonna say, are you an
it's the truth.
introvert? Would you call yourself an introvert?
Yeah. Yeah,
Really?
I like to think that. Yeah, and also my mom always used to call me a humble beast. Anytime I do a video, my mom is because my mom follows me now too. She's like, son, make sure you remember, thank him. I'm like, okay, mom, all right. So she definitely keeps me on my toes. But as far as advice, I would just say, simple thing, have fun. That's really what social media is all about. Two, which is easier said than done. Trust me, I know. Block out the noise. You're gonna get listen. I have never seen a viral video of any capacity not have some sort of hate in some capacity. It's gonna happen. You just gotta embrace it. Also, one thing I recommend, don't invest into the comment section that much because I know sometimes people get mentally just drained
Yeah.
by the comment section. Now, don't get me wrong. For some people, it's different. Like, for example, a Charlie D'Amelio, an Addison Ray, Cobby Lamb, or Angry Reactions. They have a flood in the first 3 seconds, so it's kind of hard to ignore it. But yeah, just block out the noise and just stay true to who you are. I feel like that's the best thing that can happen to you. I mean, hey, it gave me an opportunity to go to a Kings game. It gave me an opportunity to go to a NASCAR event in the freaking Coliseum, which has never happened. So yeah, those are the three things that I live by. And so yeah, just have fun, block out the noise, and just be real.
So, I mean, that's great advice. I don't know if you want to say on here. Like, I don't know if there's like an announcement coming out. Like, so you don't. I don't want to make you say anything on here you don't want to say. But obviously, you posted yesterday was your last day with the Rams. So like, what's gonna happen next? Like, you don't have. I'm not saying like, give me the scoop, but like, like what? Just if you want to say something vague, like, I'm not gonna pressure you because you need to make your announcement on. I'm not trying to like Adam Schefter, Tom Brady, you like.
Yeah, now that I'm kind of like away from them, it's like I can kind of do whatever. I mean, I got active today on Twitter, Instagram. That's the most active I've been in so long. But only thing for sure about me is nothing's for sure. But there are offers on the table right now. Still speaking to a few more people. Like I said, definitely a lot of offers, involving teams, businesses, or
Ooh,
even even though personal branding, because Michael has been doing a phenomenal job being an agent. So a lot of things on the table. I'll say some east, some west, some still here. Maybe 40 miles south. You know, there's a
40
lot
miles
of options to.
south. Is that in San Diego? I don't know West Coast geography.
Oh, so I'm not even like really in it. Well, it's LA, but it ain't LA. It's the Valley. They call it Canoga Park, which is like 30 minutes from downtown LA. So I guess I'll say 30 miles south. Yeah, 30 miles.
Downtown LA.
Yeah. So
Okay.
the only thing for sure about me is
LA's
nothing's
on
for
my
sure.
bucket list. I really want to go out there because I'm really
Yeah.
done with the cold here in New York.
Yeah. Get ready for the traffic. I'm sure you deal with it enough in New York, but it's
Yeah.
just as bad.
I don't even drive in the city because I'm like afraid to.
Oh yeah.
But I feel like,
Guaranteed honking.
yeah, I feel like my defensive driving would be ready. So I guess that's it. Clifford, I really appreciate you coming on. Do you want to like plug all your socials now?
Yeah. Do I pull it up on my phone and just show them?
You could tell them the name if you want to show them. Like, it's totally up to you. Whatever you want.
Yeah. Okay. So check this out, guys. So I just changed my Snapchat name too, which was sick. You could change your Snapchat name, people.
Oh, I
By the way,
saw.
I don't know. I don't know if y'all know that, but you can do that now.
You don't
But
want
yeah,
your
my TikTok.
13-year-old Snapchat name still, guys? I'm just kidding.
No,
The
I
Snapchat name
didn't.
I know. I gotta change mine. I don't want the Snap name I made when I was like, what, like 13, 14, whenever Snapchat came
Yeah.
out.
See. I just made my first initial, last name, and then my jersey number at the time. But now it's just like I want to be a little more consistent. Like my
Yeah.
my Twitter is Cliff Taylor IV, and I'm like, oh, that's not taken. I'll just take that. So yeah, my Snapchat and Twitter are both Clifford Taylor IV. My Instagram is just my full name as displayed here, and then my TikTok, Big Flex, just my first name. So
Ooh, so wow. So now we know Clifford was an early adopter on TikTok.
yeah,
Got the
got
just
the
first name at with no underscores, no anything.
no underscores, no nothing, just straight Clifford. Just
Huge flex. People pay so much
yeah.
money for like on Instagram just to have
Oh
their first
yeah,
name. Like they'll buy those handles for so
yeah,
much money. Huge, yeah, huge flex.
crazy,
Huge flex, huge
crazy.
flex. All right, guys. So that is it. Again, Clifford, appreciate you stopping by. YouTube link for Clifford is the first link in the description, guys. So make sure you guys check him out. Obviously, I mean, he just gave like an awesome tease of all the stuff that could possibly happen. So like, do you want FOMO? You definitely got to go subscribe, follow him. And that is it, guys. Appreciate you all.